Hi everyone, my name is Kate Kalthoff and welcome to a Stamping to Share video. Today I'm going to show you this medallion Christmas card that uses a couple of items. One is our floral framelits, which is found in our regular catalog. And then we are also going to use, you can see these cute little petals here, that's our Festive flower punch, which happens to be on sale this week only. And so let's go ahead and get started and I'll teach you how to make this card. The first thing that we're going to need is some Night of Navy cardstock. I've cut this at 5.5 by 8.5 and then I've scored it at 4 1/4. And so I'm just going to take this and I'm just going to fold it in half. Then I'll use my bone folder and I'll make a nice crease here so it will lie flat for us while we work with it. Then we are going to need 2 sheets of Whisper white paper. This is 4 by 5 1/4, and one of those sheets will go on the inside of our card. We're going to set that aside for right now. And then one of the sheets we'll be working with for the outside of our card. We are going to do some layering of washi tape. This is our Winter Wonderland washi tape, which you can find in the 2015 Holiday Mini. And so we're just going to take this washi tape and we are just going to layer some strips across the top. So I'm just going in here and it's a little hard to see over my camera, but I think this is pretty good. And then we're going to take the next one. We're going to use these bands here with the gold on. We're just going to layer that right next to it. And then finally our last layer will be the little dots. And this is just a little bit different way to use washi tape. Just rather than at the bottom of the card, we're going to use it at the top. There we go. And now we can lift it up from our work surface here, and we can either trim that even with the scissors or you can just take your finger and curl them under. And that's what I'm going to do. So I'm just curling this washi tape around to the back side of our card. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to get a piece of foil. This is our gold foil and it's cut at 3 by 5 inches. And we are going to use the floral frames. This is the floral frames framelits. And we are not going to use the biggest one, but we're going to use the second biggest one. And then this is put onto this 3 by 5 inch piece of gold foil. And I put it so that one of the petals is facing due to the right, and then there'll be 5 petals. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 petals, because this is going to sit on the edge of our card. And so I just run it through the Big Shot machine just like this. I just line it up so that this is all straight. So you have 3 petals over here and then 5 over here. When I take it off the Big Shot machine, and I went ahead and did this, it'll look something like this. So it'll be all together, and when you take it off the Big Shot machine, you have very little waste. And you could actually take your star punch and punch some gold stars or something like that with the excess. And then this is the piece that we're going to glue down to the front of our card panel. So I'm just going to take some snail and we're just going to put snail all around on these petals. And then we'll just set this right here on the front of our card. We're going to layer that so there's maybe about, just a tad under a 1/2 inch gap there at the top, and then I'm just layering it so it's even on the left. And then down here we have a little room for our sentiment. So we're going to stamp that with Night of Navy ink. And the stamp set that we're going to use today is called Reason for the Season. Now this stamp set can be purchased on its own or it can be bundled with the Festive Flower Punch. Now the Festive Flower Punch by itself, if you're not interested in purchasing the stamp set, is on sale this week for $13.50 from Stampin' Up. However, I had customers asking me this week how this worked because they were wondering, would it be cheaper to get the stamp set and the flower punch by its, as a bundle, or would it be cheaper to buy the stamp set by itself and then to buy the punch on sale? Well, actually it is cheaper to purchase it as a bundle. So if you decide you want the Reason for the Season stamp set with the coordinating Festive Flower Punch. You'll want to get it as a bundle. You'll save $1.50 if you purchase that as a bundle. This week only, if you're interested in just getting the it's kind of like a poinsettia. If you're just interested in getting the Festive Flower Punch, you can get that for $13.50. So like I said, the stamp set that we're using has a couple of nice sentiments on it, and one of the sentiments that we're going to use is this Peace on Earth sentiment. So I'm just going to, oops, I had my piercing mat. I want my stamping mat. I don't like having all the little holes in the piercing mat. So I have two mats, one for stamping and one for piercing. And so we're going to take the Peace Be With You, and we're just going to stamp that right down here. And that part of the card is done. Now we are going to use some Winter Wonderland Designer Vellum. And this is a Winter Wonderland Designer Vellum stack from the Holiday 2015 mini catalog, and you can see there's silver on one side and gold on the other for all of these different designs, and it's just a very nice set of vellum in our 6x6 size. And so what I did is I used again the floral frames, and I took kind of this crackly looking vellum paper from the Winter Wonderland Designer Vellum stack, and I just ran it through the Big Shot, and I used a 3-inch square piece of this paper. So there's very little waste because you're putting this right up to the edge. So you can see this is all the vellum that was left over, not very much. And so I'll pull this out of here, and this is going to be glued onto the front of our card, and we're just going to put it on just like this, and we're actually going to glue it because we are going to be covering up the center, so it doesn't matter if the glue shows through because the center is going to be covered up anyway. So we're going to set this so that it's pretty even with our flowers. We want our flower petal edges to be nice and even, and then we can just, you know, spread this out a little bit, and in time that will dry real good. But for now, we're going to set this aside while we work on the flower part of with the punch. So you are going to need 2 strips at 3/4 inch by 6 inches of our gold glimmer paper. And so I already took one of the strips and punched out the flowers. Now I'm going to show you how to punch out more, because we need 4 of this center section of this Festive Flower Punch. So we are going to punch out once from this side, and then we're going to flip it over and punch out again from the other side, and that's going to give us 4 petals. And then I've already pre-punched the others, and of course this could all be layered up real pretty, like you can see how that would all layer up and it would make a very pretty poinsettia. However, I did not want to do that with this particular one because the layers would get too fat and we'd have too much bulk here. So what I'm doing is I'm actually cutting them down. So I'm taking my paper snips and I'm just cutting these little petals like this, and I'm just trimming it up so that we get rid of any excess, and there's not very much excess, just the tiniest little bit. So you can see I'm trimming up the petals just like this, and we'll do the other one, and that's 4, but you'll need a total of 8 to complete this card. So I have my other 4 right over here, and now you can see that our glue is starting to dry. It does leave our flower a little bit high on this side, but that's okay. We can work with that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take some more glue, and we're just going to put some glue in the center here. So I'm just going to add some extra glue to the back of each of these flowers, and we're just going to center them in. And I like to kind of have them go in the direction of the petals of the card. So that's the first 2. Then we're going to go ahead and do the next 2. And I'm just spreading them out here. I'm just doing the 4 corners first, And then we'll add the next layer after that. So those go right here. And actually with this one I want to make sure that I get that petal all the way on. And you have a little wiggle time with glue, so you can kind of wiggle that into place. Now the next 4 petals we put in between. So it will look something like this. And we just keep building these layers until we have all 8 petals in. And then what I like to do is I like to let this dry just a minute or so, give that some time to settle in. So I'll be back in a little bit and we'll finish up this card. All right, we're going to set this aside for just a minute, give it a little bit more time, and then we are going to go ahead and work on the inside panel of our card. And again, I'm going to take the washi tape, and this time I'm going to put a layer here at the bottom. And I'm just going to set that in. And this time I think I am going to trim it even because I like to leave my cards a little loose and flowing, and so I don't want it flipped up with raw edges. So we'll go ahead and trim that nice and even. And then we'll put that on the inside panel of our card after we've stamped it. So once again, we're going to stamp it with Night of Navy ink, and again I've used the Reason for the Season stamp set, so I'm going to put Jesus is the reason for the season right here. And you know what, I forgot to use my mat, so I'm going to lift this up carefully, add my stamping mat, and just press. I don't want to take a chance of it not working. So there we go, looks beautiful. And now we can go ahead and put this on the inside panel of our card. And I just do that with a little bit of snail at the top, and then just center this in so all 4 borders are nice and even. And now let's go back and work with our beautiful medallion flower. You can see how gorgeous that is turning out to be. So now to finish it off, all we do is we turn it to the back side, we take our scissors, and we are just going to trim this even with the white panel. And then we're going to adhere it to our card base. So I'm going to use some snail, and I'm just going to give it a good border all the way around, and then we can just set it right in so that all 4 edges are nice and even. And then to add just the right amount of bling to this card, we are going to take a metal rimmed pearl, and I just take the backing off with my paper piercing tool, and then I can use that tool to adhere it right where I want on my card. I'm just going to center that in right on those gold glimmer petals. And now we have a beautiful, beautiful medallion card that shows off some of the petal punches from the Festive Flower Petal Punch that's on sale this week. And then here is the card I started with and the card I completed for you. So I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Have a great day, and thanks so much for stopping by Stamping to Share. If you don't already have a demonstrator, I'd be thrilled to be yours. Please visit my blog at www.stampingtoshare.com, where I have links where you can place orders. Have a great day. Bye-bye.